Well, we hope we're live anyway. So, good morning, everybody. I'm Andrew Jenkins, and this is a short countdown timer to help the various feeds catch up and settle down. And hopefully, we're on live today. So, we never quite know whether we're there or not. So, coming up, hopefully. And in this week's Leaders Live, we hang out again with my mate Rebecca Jenkins, founder of RJEN, and helping businesses to grow beyond expectations based on previous experience of growing companies to 8 figures. Oh, that's a big number. And our theme today is how to sell authentically without being salesy. Well, I don't know, but we'll find out today what that's all about. Give us a quick wave, Rebecca. There we go, brilliant. And we're just waiting for the comments to come through. Tell us we're live, please, folks. That would be handy. There we go, we're live. Yep, I'm in. So brilliant, I can see people building up, so that's good. And Mrs. Moderator herself, Sarah Jenkins, FD of PDX Consulting. Say a quick hello.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And guess what? Guess what? We've got comments.
Yes. Today is a good day.
Brilliant. It's a good day today. So LinkedIn has decided to give us comments. How about that? Isn't that wonderful? So we've got Tilly and the CX marketing gang in the background. We've got David Agnew from Ghost, our sponsors. Good morning. Thank you very much for sponsoring us, David Agnew. And here is our official sponsors video. There you go. I hope you like that little jingle. We love putting that together. So, oi, oi, people, and hi, gang. It's the Leaders Live showtime again, folks. And we've got comments in the feed today. We're so excited. We can't believe it. So it's just after 8:45 a.m. here in the UK, and we are live with Leaders Live. Spreading the love, folks, spreading the love. Yappa dabba do. And we hope you enjoyed that groovy opener, as I said, folks. And this week, we're delighted that we're powered by our sponsor, brand and design agency, Ghost. And oh, please let us know if our audio is coming through okay too. So I presume that it is. And good morning, Paul Brown. Good morning, David. Good morning, Pauline. And good morning to a LinkedIn user. So give us a good morning, please. Good morning, Jonas. Probably good morning, Vietnam, wherever you are. Mateus, that's your usual strap line. So let us know where you are. So, please, if you're online, just give us a quick hello so we know who you are. So don't be shy. We'd love you to introduce yourselves so that we can get to know and encourage you to actively network with us and build relationships with each other, because funny enough, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Good morning, Angelique. Fantastic. And we have 3 simple rules in this community. It's a safe community. We have mutual respect, and please, no selling in the room. So please join in, interact with the comments and chat and ask questions as we go along. And our motto here at Leaders Live is I to the power of we. And as usual, we're streaming out on all the major social media channels and the LinkedIn Leaders Live website as well. Ooh, don't you just love tech? And today we're loving tech because it's all come through okay, and we're delighted with that. And not only can you catch us live on the live, but you can also catch us on the replay, and we've got podcasts too. We'll let you know when those are about. And I'm sure you'll appreciate there's a huge amount of work and love that goes into producing this high quality freemium Leaders Live business show every week, folks. And so one really easy way you can give back to the show and appreciate and love us in the show is to use the little app called buymeacoffee.com. Using the link buymeacoffee.com /Leaders Live, and you can buy me. If you buy me 5 coffees, you get free half-an-hour coaching session. How about that? What value is that? And Sarah will put the link in the feed, and you get a shout out too on the show when you buy me a coffee. So please feel the fun. There's a QR link as well, and so it's no faffing about. It's a little awesome little app, and all proceeds go back to the show to make it even more betterer, folks. So smash those likes too, and those thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. That keeps us motivated as well, and we love you to subscribe to our email list. Gosh, we've got one of those now, and we'll be talking about that this morning, actually, with Rebecca. And to make it real simple, we've got a single link tree URL, so you can contact me dead easily. So the link will be in the feed shortly. Sarah will pop it in now, and that's that. And LinkedIn, Linktree, if you didn't know, it's a virtual business card. It's dead cool, folks. Really smart way of connecting with your audience. And thanks to Kieran for his advice on that. Brilliant. So if you put it all together, what have you got? Yep, you've got it. Bibbity, bibbity, bobbity, boo. So let's bring in our guest for today. So where are we? Where is my guest scene? There we go. Well, good morning, Rebecca Jenkins. How are you doing?
Good morning, Andrew Jenkins. How are you?
See, we've got 3 Jenkinses in the room today, so there you go. Fantastic. So our theme today is how to sell authentically without being salesy. Wow, and I think that might deserve a ooh. So set the scene for us, Rebecca. Kick us off. Give us the direction of travel today. Inspire us with where we're going today.
Oh, do you know, there's so many views about sales, aren't there? People have very strong views about it. Nobody likes to be sold to.
No.
So how do you overcome that and make sales? And I think that's the kind of theme that we're going to be going through. I mean, so many people do sales really well, but it does have a very tarnished reputation, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Yeah. People go back to that kind of traditional car salesperson, but sales has moved on so much since then. We're going to be talking about modern sales techniques and how to do selling well without any sales, without any single pushy sales technique or tactic at all.
Well, we
So I
like
think
that, don't we? I think that deserves a. I think we're all going to resonate with that. So, have you got a quick audience question to help us to get the audience going with an interaction question at all, Rebecca?
So ask the audience a question would be, what's your perspective on sales? Kind of a bit like the poll, I guess. What do you love about the sales process, or what do you not like about selling and sales?
Yeah, I've got that down as what has been your biggest challenge in sales and what did you learn from it? Was that about right?
Sorry. Yeah,
It's
that's
about
the
the
right
same
question,
question.
Andrew. Sorry,
No
I went
problem.
off track there. No.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
So
what's your biggest challenge in sales?
brilliant.
What's your biggest sales challenge? Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so hopefully that will go in the feed in a moment. Looks like Tilly's doing the feed for us, so we'll come on to Mrs. Moderator. How are we doing, Mrs. Moderator, this morning?
Good morning. Well, I got really excited because it appeared we were doing really well. And then, I don't know, LinkedIn's still having a few glitches because some of the LinkedIn comments that I can see on LinkedIn just aren't coming in on the feed. So
Okay.
thank you, Tilly, for posting. I started well, but I've fallen at the first hurdle. So Tilly's going to carry on posting.
Brilliant.
But
Okay.
yeah, great to see. There's a few names that I don't recognise, which is brilliant. So we might have a few new people.
Yeah, we've got Paul Brown.
Pauline Beach. Good morning, Paul Brown.
Good morning, Pauline. Yeah.
Siobhan, Steve Whittle, nice to see you here on time. Excellent. Good morning.
we love teasing you, Steve. So good morning, Steve. How you doing, mate? You all right?
So yeah, really, really looking forward to, as you say, sales is such a pertinent topic that, yeah, we all need to be the best that we possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. And good morning, Silver Fox from South Africa or wherever you are in the world. This is a subject that's very close to your heart, Mr. Guy Dane, and morning, Paul Winfield. And yeah, great. Okay. And hello, Joe Cooper. Brilliant. And fantastic to see you as well. So we did this. Let's just have a quick look. Where are we? We did this. Let's bring back Rebecca. And before you begin, Rebecca, let's just give you a round of applause. Yay! Feel the love. Hope you love the groovy build-up because that's all part of the sales thing, right? We've got to have a groovy build-up. So there we go. So there's a groovy build-up for you. Let's start with the audience question, Rebecca. What's been your biggest challenge in sales while we're waiting for the comment to come in? And there are comments coming in, by the way. But we'll start with you, Rebecca.
Oh, my biggest challenge in sales, I learned so much from this, was my previous business was in logistics. And if anybody here has a logistics business or has worked in it, you will know how competitive it is. And there are, believe it or not, over 100,000 logistics companies in the UK. Might be slightly less now, might be around 90,000. That's a stack of competitors. And we really wanted to win some big accounts. And we kept pitching for big accounts and we kept being rejected. We were a small business. So we're thinking, my goodness, this is a challenge. How are we going to overcome this? How are we going to grow the business and win some big accounts? And we thought we're going to have to do things really differently. And we decided that what we would do was get to have a list of companies that we'd really love to do business with and start to target those, but get to know them inside out and really kind of understand what was going on in their world and what their challenges were. And when we did that, we had the opportunity to bid for a really prestigious retail contract. And we thought, right, we know this company inside out now, we'll put in our proposal. But we were up against really big players, companies that were turning over billions. And we thought,
Wow.
I don't know whether we'll be successful or not. But we put in our proposal and we won it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
the big lesson was when you have all of these insights, you can put something together that's very different from what anybody else puts together because other people hadn't bothered to do the insights, even our much bigger competitors. So we put something together very different and they loved it. So that was the big.
Sorry, Rebecca, carry on.
That was the big challenge, was how do we break through and get these big opportunities?
Yeah, and it sounds like you did a lot of research to make that work for you. So you created something from just by looking, right? And the more you looked, the more you found, I guess.
Yeah, really did a deep dive into the business. I often say, look, if I'd been on Mastermind and my specialist question was this particular company, I would have won Mastermind. That's how much we knew it.
I like that. If it was a mastermind topic, I'd have won it. Brilliant.
Yeah, I wouldn't have won much else on Mastermind, but I would have won that.
Yeah, and what were the key things that made you think that you would win that then? So what were the learnings for you there, Rebecca?
It was knowing how we could put something together for them in terms of a distribution solution that nobody else had thought about because they didn't have the insights that we had.
Yeah.
So we were able to offer them something which gave them scale to grow. I mean, we created a transformation for them in some respects, and they just loved it, and nobody else had thought about it.
Brilliant. So quite a unique pitch, and really went on a sharp angle there, I guess.
Yeah, and learned so much from that. I mean, another story is we came close to losing it, but that's another story for another day. After having it for 12 months, we got close to losing it, but
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's one thing winning it. There's another thing keeping it, right?
exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Let's give you a quick break for a minute. Let's bring in Mrs. Moderator again. What's going on in the chat? Let's just see what's
lots going on in the chat. Guy, how to structure your approach depending on your client's personality. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's his challenge, right?
Simon Brown, biggest sales challenge is finding people who are showing buying signals.
Oh, it's finding people who are showing buying signals. So it's working out the buying signals. Rebecca, what do you think to that? That's an interesting comment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? I think you have to go before you see the buying signals.
Yeah, right.
And you have to get to know them because they might not be ready to buy just yet. But if you can build a relationship with them when they are ready to buy, you'll be forefront of mind. And, if not everybody's ready to buy right now, but getting to know them, build that relationship with them, at some point they will be ready. So having a number of different touch points and ways that you can keep in touch with them, and then you can spot the buying signals once you get to know them. Yeah.
So that's a subtle difference, that, isn't it? So I really like the way you've said that. So actually the buying thing isn't before you get a signal. It's way before that, right? So hopefully that'll help Simon a bit as well. It happens before that. It's about building the relationship way before you've even got a buying signal sometimes. Okay, a bit like the moving parade that we like to talk about, Sarah and I. That you're watching a parade move by, and if you just stand still and you don't follow the parade, then your message just gets lost, right, in the parade. So you've got to keep on delivering that message over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, how many times that people need to see your message? Is it something like 7 times?
6 or 7 times, they say, even 10 times, so depends who you listen to.
Touch points before from cold to doing business with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah?
Yeah, other comments. Steve Whittle, staying organised whilst managing a large and diversified customer base. It's a reality that customers are often geographically dispersed. They use different mediums, they have different needs. Managing all the pieces can be overwhelming if you're not organised.
Yeah, sounds like a team game as well, doesn't it? Not one person can
Definitely,
do it if you're very
definitely.
big anyway.
Um,
So,
Interesting. Joe Cooper says
hi,
her
Joe.
biggest challenge in sales is ghosting. There's interest, seemingly meetings, conversations, then nothing. She's still trying to figure that one out.
Oh, that is
Oh,
a tough one. That is a tough one, you know. And I
mm,
sort of have a general rule of thumb that you can do 6 or 7 follow-ups, but try and be creative in those follow-ups. So it's not just another phone call, it's not just another email. You could send them something in the post. So you could send them
wow.
a book. You could send them a voucher for coffee, just
Oh,
try
yeah.
different ways of following up
Yeah.
to get attention. That is a tough one, but you've got to do the follow through, no
Mm.
question. But 6 or 7 times, and then maybe move on, but have them on a list to follow up in a 6 months time or something.
I like the idea of sending someone a coffee voucher. Have a coffee on me. I really like that idea. That's just brilliant. So, yeah. Great. What else, Sarah? Thank you.
Hello to Rachel Fogg. That is a name I've not come
Oh,
across
hello,
before.
Rachel. One of my
Good
mates.
morning. Oh, well, there we go. Biggest challenge: how to open dialogue when people aren't meeting in person. You can't just bump into
Oh,
them, can you?
No, but you can use social selling
right.
and
Carry on.
have conversations on places like LinkedIn. And I think that's just a great way to do it these days. Now, I agree. That was a big challenge for me when we had lockdown. And I thought, wow, I'm going to have to get to grips with using LinkedIn for a different way of prospecting.
Mm.
Yeah.
But not the get in touch and sell immediately, because that does not work.
No.
Creating, resonating, having conversations with people on LinkedIn is a great way to overcome that in-person situation that we have less of these days, but perhaps coming back a bit more to life now.
Yeah, and interesting. So, Rachel, I'd had dialogue with you, Rachel, over the weekend because I hadn't spoken to you for ages. I saw that you joined the event, so I just shot Rachel a message saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And I've got a lovely reply back, which I'll be reading in more detail today, Rachel. But and that just shows, doesn't it? Where the power of social media and social selling, and using the message box in LinkedIn, just say, "Hey, how you doing?" Just start that dialogue off.
Well, that's how we've got to know each other, Andrew.
Yeah, dead right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Just through LinkedIn.
That's
Yeah.
totally right. Yeah. And same for Tilly as well. I met Tilly online. So, as it were, ages ago, 2016, apparently. So, yeah, Mrs. Moderator, what else? Thank you.
Kathy Heath.
hello,
Smaller
Kathy.
contracts don't need to give buying signals if you can leverage your relationship, trust, and create a solution that aligns to their needs and goals with a clear business case. Often
Oh,
sales happen when you're not looking for a solution, but you present a way to save a cost or increase revenue.
Oh, really
that's
spot on point.
really interesting. Yeah. Kathy is a consummate sales lady. So, yeah. So smaller accounts don't need to give buying signals if you can leverage your relationship. There you go. That's exactly what we're talking about, right, Rebecca?
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And I think you've made a really good point. Help your prospects to increase their revenue or reduce their costs. There's a real sweet spot in there. So yeah, doing
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
really good.
Find a way of adding value, either by adding value or saving costs, right? Either way, it's a value. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of Kathy's specialists. Anything else, Sarah, you want to pick up on?
Yeah, Steve Whitler, unless the buyer knows you, likes you, and trusts you, they won't buy. So it comes back to that relationship building, doesn't it?
It does indeed. And we'll be talking more about that. How do you get people to like you more and know you better? Those kind of things, and nurture that relationship. There's another word that we perhaps need to pick on as well. So we did this poll, didn't we? We'll come back to some of the comments in a moment. So we did this poll. Let me just find this poll. Where is it? There it is. We did this poll the other day, didn't we? What do you find most frustrating when getting sales calls or messages? And I thought this was fascinating. This really took off, this one, actually. Quite amazing, the amount of responses we got from this one, well into the hundreds, which is brilliant. So we got nothing, happy to get them, 4%. They've got a job to do, 23%. Don't listen, they're on a script, right, 38%. On own agenda, too pushy, folks. Don't be too pushy, 36%. That's what puts most people off. So what do you say to those stats, Rebs?
Well, I think nothing, happy to get them, only 4%. So people don't really like them in the first place.
Yep.
So that's quite interesting. We've got to be quite creative in how we might approach prospects. And don't listen on a script. Yeah, so true. Because one of the key things about doing sales well is to listen and really understand what's happening in the world of your ideal clients. And if we don't do that, then we're really missing a trick and people don't like it, as we can see from these stats. Where I thought the biggest one was going to be own agenda too pushy, but okay, a couple of percentage points between that. Um, yeah, don't listen. Well, that's a key number one in sales, isn't it? You've got to listen and understand what's happening in the world of your ideal clients and your prospects.
Yeah, so it's a couple of things there. One is about good listening and understanding what's going on for them, but also finding that angle and being intentional about it, like you said earlier. So it's sort of a
Yeah.
combination of those things, isn't it? Listen, but then find a creative solution by listening, I guess.
Yeah, I like to think of it as go beyond selling a solution, because
Oh,
everybody's talking about selling a solution. I think we've got to go beyond that. And we've got to be thinking about how can we really create a transformation for that business that's linked to their strategic goals. And the only way we can find that out is by doing the research beforehand. So really trying to understand what are they intending to do, what are they striving to achieve, and how can you help them to do that by creating some form of transformation in their business. So we've got to think bigger, perhaps, than just selling a solution, because I think buyers know that there's a solution out there. Intrinsically, we all know that there is a solution, some way, shape, or form, to the challenges that we face in our businesses.
yeah.
And yeah, we've got to go beyond that.
Two sides of the coin, isn't it, really? So I suppose when you've got a problem, on the other side of that coin is the solution, right?
Yeah. And
But
we go on, Andrew.
no, but you're saying going beyond that solution. That's interesting. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think selling a solution is a bit dated these days. So we can all sell a solution. Yeah, I mean, it's all feasible. Buyers don't want that. There's plenty of research that say buyers want something different. And I kind of say what they're looking for is VICE. It's kind of an easy acronym to remember, that they're looking for value,
Value.
they're looking for insights,
Ooh.
and the C stands for collaboration. And I think that's how we've got to look at it. How can we collaborate together to create something that's a transformation for their business? And E stands for education. So they want to be educated. They want something new and different. And this is interesting because I often speak to buyers and say, what is it that would get an appointment in your diary from somebody who would like to sell you a product or provide you with a service? And the responses are really interesting. You might want to cover this later, or you might want me to roll and explain it. Would you like me to just carry on?
Yeah, no, carry on. Yeah, you're on it. So carry on. Yeah.
So they say things like, I will get an appointment in my diary really quickly if I get an approach and they've got something different to offer and they've done their research. There's two things: done the research and have something that they think will add value or be different and help me get where I want to be. So that's how we've got to think about that process and add something different. And then you'll get the appointment, because many people say, oh my God, it's such a challenge to get the appointment. How do I do that? Well, that's just how you might be able to do that. And that's what buyers say.
So find the angle, find that something different. And that's what it's more than just the solution that's adding value that they may not have thought about, right? And that's where the transformation comes in. How can we help you transform what you're doing?
Yeah.
Right.
How
And
can
then
we help?
finding that magic somehow, or gaining at least an understand. Look, if we have this dialogue, we might be able to find this, and that then opens up an interesting conversation. All right, well, let's have a chat then.
Yeah, I think you've got to kind of give them the seeds of something. Maybe I call it
Right.
a transformational concept. So just
Yeah.
a concept of how you might be able to help them to achieve their strategic goals.
Love that.
And achieve something different in their business that, as we said before, aligns to reducing costs or increasing revenue.
Yeah, aligning to those strategic goals. I really like that. Let's give you a break for a minute. Mrs. Moderator, what's going on, Sarah?
Not a lot in the chat. Steve Whittle makes a good point. Buyers will pay more if they trust you'll get the job done. That way you can compete on something other than price. Service adds value and sells. So it's about being, I think it's about being trustworthy, isn't it, as well? You know, do what you say you're going to do, in the little things. And Jonah says we should not try to sell the product to the customer. We need to make the customer want to buy the product. When the customer's decided to call, they've probably already decided to make that purchase, and they just need the final convincing.
Yeah, or you just go as Rebecca said that you find an even more innovative solution that is like, oh, we'd never thought about that. Being even more creative with that. Yeah, interesting. And I really like that vice thing. I'm just going back to that because I think it was well worthwhile just highlighting what that means. I wrote that down while you were talking. So VICE is an acronym for value, insights, collaboration, and education, right? And that that's the kind of mindset that you need to be in when you're selling, is what you're saying, right? Is to think VICE first of all.
Think VICE, yeah.
Think VICE.
And there's evidence to say that's what buyers are looking for. They want to be educated and be brought new ideas and insights. So,
like it. Brilliant. And that brings me on nicely to think about. So we've talked about relationships. We talked about building trust. We've talked about listening to the customer, nurturing leads, and let the sale, close itself naturally, I suppose, is where this is coming to, that you don't have to have a convincer and a script that closes the deal. You hear this often with salespeople. You've got to close the deal. What say you to that, Rebecca?
There's probably 101 different ways you can close a sale, isn't there? Something like that.
101 ways you can close this deal.
Yeah, you're going to take option A or B, or do you want it delivered today or tomorrow? That kind of...
the double bind, yes. Do you want to talk to me now or later?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think if you do all of the other things well, you are building that relationship. They have got to know, like, and trust you. They feel very comfortable with you. You're creating something different for them. And then it becomes that natural close. It just becomes, of course, we will do business with you. And, sometimes when I'm working with clients, they say, I find that they don't quite know the timing to actually say, is it right? Is the timing right for us to do business together? And that's just a very natural question, isn't it? Is the timing right?
And the timing might not be right, but the timing could be right later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
You bring it to a natural close, but sometimes you may have to ask some of those questions along the way.
Yeah, like who's the decision maker and what's the next step and things like that, just to keep the whole interest moving. But that's just being interested in the deal, right? And just getting to a conclusion that is working for both of you.
Yeah, and always having, as you say, Andrew, that next logical step agreed. And never leaving without having that agreed.
Without being too pushy, because I had a sales call the other day from a double glazing salesman who the manager then came onto the call. So he interrupted our call because the manager came in to kind of go, "Oh right, I just want to put my 2 pennies worth in," and he just said, "So what can we do to make this decision, over the line today?" And I'd only just said a few minutes ago. We're going to get different quotes first of all, and we're not quite sure what we want yet, but we'll look at the costs first, and we'll gather the information. He didn't listen to any of that. He just wanted to close the deal right then, and we found that to be really pushy, and we didn't go for that company in the end. We went for the kind of much more relaxed person who kind of said, well, we're a local company, we do all these things. By the way, he was twice as cheap, and it was just a no-brainer. So but he relaxed into the deal, and it was so much easier to work with.
Yeah, it's building that relationship again, isn't it?
Indeed.
Getting to know you, how you want to deal with things, how you want to handle it, and your approach. We've got to think of it not from pushing the sell,
that's right,
but from the buyer. What's important to you.
Yeah, indeed. And just give you a quick break again. There's loads going on in the chat. Let's just pick up Sarah. Sarah, what's going on in the chat very quickly?
Yeah, lots. Can we just repeat that acronym,
The VICE?
What it stands for?
Go for it, Rebecca.
Oh, V is for the value. So be thinking of the value you're going to provide to that company, to your prospect. I is leading with insights, and this is kind of one of the most important things. Don't contact companies without doing some research beforehand. So you can do a limited amount of research, at least have the courtesy to look at their website and see what they do. But if
Yeah,
you're going for larger accounts, you've got to do a big, deeper dive on the insights across 4 sections, which we might come on to.
lovely.
C is about collaboration. So go with the intention of finding a way to collaborate with the company or the ideal prospect or the buyer, whoever you're talking to, the decision maker. And E is to educate them. That might sound a little patronizing, and I don't mean it in that way. It's to kind of bring them something new that they don't already know about that will get their attention. So this buyer I was talking to recently, he's part of a big retailing business, and he had a company that had something very unique around barcoding, and he said, "Oh, that was really different.
Yeah.
You get it. You've got a slot in my diary next week." And he's a C-suite executive. He's really chock-a-block with his diary, but this was interesting to him.
Yeah.
So
Peter's
educate
interest. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
best, and it was something new that he could learn about. So yeah,
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. So there's Vice, value, insights, collaboration, and education, folks. So there you go. That's what you've learned today. Sarah, what else?
Yeah, Matthias makes a good point. He said yesterday, one of the leading sales coaches in Norway came up with a post about the importance of the human aspects of sales. The
Oh,
people you are selling to are human beings. The sales representatives are human beings. You should always make the sales human. Absolutely. You know, we all have our quirks, don't we?
I like that. Well done. Yeah, lovely. Anything else you want to pick up on, Sarah?
Yeah, Ant Jones, don't sell
Oh,
a
hello, Ant.
solution. Give them advice, value, and insight is totally true. Sales isn't selling them, it's helping them.
Ah, yeah. So
Like that.
Anthony Jones from Ghost, our sponsor. So thank you very much. Yes, lovely. We like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the edited highlights.
I've just seen this one actually, Sarah. 101 ways to. I'm just trying to find it. Oh,
Oh yeah, Jonas,
yeah.
101 ways to lose a sale. That should be a book.
hey,
Not to
great
win a sale,
idea.
but to lose a sale. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. David Anke says value.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
lots of love for the acronym VICE.
Vice.
It's certainly one that's going to stick in the mind.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so there we go. So so I really like that whole thing about give value and lead with insight. And I just want to kind of explore that a little bit further and bring this into the world of, Rebecca, what are your thoughts about email marketing and sales funnels for small to medium-sized businesses?
I think they've got a really important role to play.
Yeah.
There's 2 types of email marketing. One is just going out cold using email, and that doesn't have high open rates, but it can be effective, I think, when it's blended with something else. So, for example, you might message on LinkedIn and then you might also email them. So I think that can work quite nicely.
Okay,
Cold.
so where you've warmed up, where you've had that relationship. Back to what Rachel was saying, how do I have open dialogue with people when I'm not face to face with them? Starts with
Yeah,
LinkedIn and then moves to email. That's
yeah,
electronic. Yeah.
you can blend the two. That's nice.
Okay.
But always aim to have a call with them or meet them. But then there's the warmed up list, isn't there? Your people that have joined your email list because you're giving them some value. That could be a newsletter, that could be top tips, that could be insights that you're going to help them with. And I think that's really, really powerful. So it helps you to build that relationship and it helps them to get to know, like, and trust you. So
Ah,
there's a big role to play, I feel.
so email
Um,
lists. So you're a fan of email lists and nurturing that relationship
yeah,
through email.
yeah.
Interesting. And what's the advantage of taking, so you talked about starting with, say, LinkedIn, which is an obvious place to start because that's where all your contacts are and that's your network. And, that's where all the content is that we engage with, if you like. And then moving that to email, what's the subtle importance to that? Is there one, or am I just, what am I seeing there?
There is one, Andrew. I think anybody who's a content creator on LinkedIn at the moment will notice that the recent changes in LinkedIn algorithms means that you're not getting your content seen by as many people as you were 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
So we're always at the vagaries of LinkedIn, and if everything is on LinkedIn, then we risk being at whatever changes LinkedIn might decide to make.
yeah.
So bring them across into your world, into your email list, and then it feels more personal and it's more kind of one-to-one without having to be on LinkedIn. And I think it just helps you to increase that relationship with people.
That's really interesting. So you're using LinkedIn for, establishing some interest with the content that's going on, but actually where the relationship is built isn't necessarily through LinkedIn, particularly with all the changes they keep making to LinkedIn, is put them into your own, nurture your contacts outside of LinkedIn once you've established, that first relationship. Is that right?
Yeah, always aim to have a call or have them at an event, create an event, or have them on your email list, just in case. We never know what LinkedIn might decide to do in the future. And if everything that you do is on LinkedIn, then it's very all in one basket, and that's not a good place to be. So blend your approach, use sort of modern selling techniques, and blend it with a whole range of different things, or the things that are going to work for you. That might be email, might be events, might be LinkedIn, might be outreach with telesales or something like that. But yeah, have a blended approach. And we know now that buyers are taking longer in that, you've got the awareness, and then they're thinking about, they're considering you amongst other people, other companies, and they're taking longer in that process, and they're doing that themselves. So we've got to find different ways of engaging with them. And I think if you're not using kind of modern sales techniques and being on social in the places where they are, you're going to be missing a trick. But yeah, always encouraging to build that know, like, and trust by having various different touch points.
Yeah, and it's not just all on social media, right? You just, that's the key message here, that yes, that starts the conversation. That's where your moving parade is, right? But then taking that contact a little bit further and nurturing them differently through emails, you said, through events.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so still with LinkedIn and direct messaging through LinkedIn as well, and contact, say, telesales perhaps, or even just, dare I say, picking up the phone and having a conversation. Or
Yeah, I love that. Yes. Yeah. Having a conversation, having a one-to-one conversation is highly recommended.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, and Zoom makes that really easy these days,
Yeah.
to jump onto Zoom and have those conversations. And those are key. And you mentioned telesales. It's just quite interesting thought for me, so is that something that's coming back, is telesales, or is it, because, we get that kind of hard, kind of, oh God, another telesales thing. But tell us a little bit more about that. Is that working? Is that still part of the modern sales technique?
Yeah. I personally don't use it,
Mm,
but I know companies that do offer it as a service, and I think where they do it well is that it's like the second part. You've already made some outreach, you've
yeah.
already had some form of communication, and then they can do the follow up and help to build the relationship, rather more than that hard kind of outreach, cold telesales. Now there may well be people here saying that they've used that and it's really worked for them. I mean, it's just not an approach I use, but it does. You've got to find what works for
Got works
you
for
and
you.
your business,
Yeah.
and that's just another angle you could take.
Yeah, so it's using lots of different approaches and trying to put them together in terms of some sort of coherent strategy that works for your business, right?
Yeah, you've got to find a process that works for
A
you and that's repeatable. I think that's key.
process
Uh,
that works. I like that. And is repeatable. And is
mm,
repeatable. I really like that. So a process that works and is repeatable, folks. I love that idea. That makes a lot of sense to me. The other thing that, with email marketing campaigns and funnels and things like that, they've got this kind of, nobody likes to be in a funnel, right?
no, it's got a bit of a tarnished image as well,
Isn't it?
hasn't it?
Yeah.
We're being funneled
We're
through.
being funneled. Yeah. Yeah.
But if we think of it slightly differently and change our mindset and say, well, we are helping our prospects to get to know, like, and trust us.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if they don't like what we say, they can always unsubscribe or move on to somebody else. We're not for everybody. So it's a great way of both of you understanding whether or not you're right for each other.
Okay, so there's an opt-in and an opt-out process, which kind of helps to keep that community, that subscriber community together. And as long as they're adding value, you're adding value, they will stay as a subscriber, and that's just part of the process. I suppose people learn to accept that as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think if your intention is always, I'm adding value,
Value, yeah, there it
but if
is.
you don't like that value, then that's fine.
Yeah,
Unsubscribe. It really doesn't matter um, for whatever reason. But I'm adding value and I'm offering you certain downloads and free things and
Yeah,
various other touch
freebies.
points.
Yeah,
So you really get to know me. And
I love
ultimately,
that. Yeah,
we might,
and back.
we might
Yeah, sorry, we clashed. Carry on, Rebecca. Sorry.
no, we might, we'll get to a point where the time is right for you to have a call.
Yeah. Back to that voice again. So add value, add insights, collaborate with your audience online, on your emails. And, you can still have a back and forth conversation via email, right? And, the education process. So that's Vice really, what way can we make Vice work? Well, that's through, a funneling subscription email marketing campaign, right?
Yeah. And have newsletters. Encourage
Newsletters.
companies to have a newsletter. I know it sounds really dated, and I was off newsletters probably about 3 years ago, thinking they're really old fashioned. I really did. Then I thought about it hard, and I looked at what other people were doing with newsletters, and I thought actually they are a great way to again add value, and build your email list of people that are interested in what you're doing and how you're doing it, or what you offer. So I'm back into newsletters now.
Back into newsletter. There you go, folks. Back into newsletter.
Yeah.
They take a bit of time to build, by the way. Rebecca and I were talking about that the other day. They do take quite a long time to build, but Rebecca says they're worth it. So there we go. We're going to come on to the comments in a moment. Just before I do that, GDPR, tell me a bit more about that and how that affects emails. Does that get in the way, or is it good? What are your thoughts now on GDPR that we've kind of, 2 or 3 years down the line on it now?
I think as long as you're giving people the option to unsubscribe and that they've confirmed, well, first of all, they've confirmed that they are happy to receive emails from you. So just have this little statement when people sign up to your email list or to your content, and that they've consented. So that's fine. I think we're all pretty used to that these days. And secondly, there's always the option for them to unsubscribe.
Of course, right. So there's
2 things in place.
Yeah, the choice all the way along. Let's bring the moderator back in again. Sarah, what's going on in the chat? There's loads going on in the chat.
Oh, loads going on in the chat. Right, I'm just going to go back a little bit. So, good morning to Chantal Daniel.
Good morning, Chantal. Lovely.
I sent you Rebecca's details because I think that'll help. So I'm not going to read it all out, but good morning.
Good morning.
Maria Jeffers believes showing genuine passion for what we do shines through.
Oh, yeah, I saw that earlier.
We need to visit our own purpose. Why are we in the role? Why are we doing what we're doing? Great point there.
Yeah, that whole value-driven thing. Back to value again and putting Vice to yourself as well. And what's the value I bring? Yeah, love that. And purpose.
Makes a point about salespeople being massively monitored on what they're doing. How many calls can you make? What's this? So, that's just a thought for, maybe managers of sales teams. How are you actually, it's not just numbers. It's more than that. KPIs are fine, but it's more than that. What sort of conversations are you having? Do your results speak rather, do you get better results but less calls maybe? I don't know, just a thought for some of the managers.
Yeah, Rebecca, just come in on that one. What do you think? So, yeah, it's very typical, isn't it, that some sales teams could just absolutely get monitored to death on the KPI numbers. What say you to that?
I think Sarah makes a great point here. It's the managers thinking about the quality of those conversations. So if they allowed their teams to do a little bit of research before they made the call and actually spoke to somebody and they knew a little bit about their business, how much more interesting would that call be than just phoning and trying to sell, because you've got 50 calls to make today. So I think it's a good message for managers to think about the quality of those calls and allowing the teams to do a bit of research beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, so there's the secret, isn't it? It's all for you. It's all about working through the research, isn't it? And really understanding what's going on before you start to make a pitch in any way to that client.
It doesn't take
or potential
much.
Customer.
Yeah, just take a quick look at their website. I'm talking very much B2B here, so maybe a little bit different in the B2C world, but
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else, Sarah?
Yeah, good morning to Caroline. I hope I'm going to pronounce this right. Saidi.
Yeah,
sorry for
Caroline.
joining late. Caroline, catch us up on the podcast because it's a gem. Absolutely need to have a listen to this one.
Brilliant.
Good point from Steve Whittle. Nothing to do with selling as such, but he says if you use Linktree on Twitter, your account may be ghosted because Elon Musk has fallen out with Linktree.
Talk about the power of some people. Hey, Elon Musk gets a lot of power, doesn't he? Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
On
Steve.
a serious note, Stuart Prestige says newsletter and/or mailing list, pros and cons.
Oh, well, let's answer that for Stuart. Morning, Stuart. Right, go for it, Rebecca.
Hello,
Newsletter and/or
Stuart.
mail list. It's all part of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it
Mm.
is. Maybe a bit of elaboration, but newsletter and/or mailing list, both. Do both.
Do both. In fact, part of your mail list is then you use that for a newsletter, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, maybe we've misunderstood that, Stuart. So if you want
Maybe.
to add some more in, let us know, and we'll endeavour to answer. Anything else, Sarah?
Joe Cooper, I love to send a letter as a salesperson. It shows
Oh,
you've taken the time to engage,
there you go.
especially if the stock you use as a letterhead has special features.
Yeah, well, it would, because Joe is part of the real print. Integrity Print are real printers that print real things. So yeah, great. I like that, Joe. Fantastic.
I love that as well. I used to use that a lot before lockdown. And then I realized people weren't going to be in their offices, so a little bit more difficult. But I think it's
course.
really it's great.
Good
And
point.
actually, you can add something to the letter to make it a little bit. You could add, like I said before, a coffee voucher or a book or something like that to just amplify your message a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, different mediums give you different advantages, don't they? So yeah, I like that. Okay. Anything else, Sarah?
Yeah, just one final one that's come in. It just says Facebook user. So
Oh, hello,
apologies,
Facebook user.
I don't know who you are, but belief in your product is vital. My late dad sold light fittings, and one company he worked for had a rubbish sample that broke when he was demonstrating. Came home, threw it across the lounge, and said, "I can sell to the Middle East. I can sell sand to the Middle East, but it has to be good sand."
Yeah, it has to work, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
There's some there, isn't there, about having that passion for what you do
Yeah.
and really being caring about your prospects and your clients and wanting them to get results.
I think something that Andrew does a lot of is giving away free content. So it's not always about going, well, I can tell you how to do it, but you're going to have to pay me lots of money. It's like, actually, have you tried this? For whatever you're doing or selling, what can you give away? Because it helps build trust.
Yeah.
You're so right. Just a thought on that. So I wrote this book. This isn't a plug, but I wrote this book, Developing High Performing Teams, 2017, and I gave away a lot of free content in this book. So you can go to the website, you can download a lot of the exercises. The intention was that people can do that, and they've got the choice to do it themselves, or they'll call me and say, "Actually, Andrew, can you come and do it for me properly?" I used to get lots of calls from people to kind of say, "Thank you very much for your book. I've read that. I really like this particular exercise. I had a go at it, and I don't think I did it really well. Can you come and do it for me? Because you're the expert." And I thought that was lovely. So it made them come to me rather than me having to heavy sell if they just by giving away free content really helped, actually.
I think it's a really great point. People are often concerned about giving away too much, but I think you can give away a lot, add a lot of value, and then they really understand what you're about and what you can offer. So I think kind of do a bit of a shift in your thinking on that one and give away advice and tips and
Totally.
expertise.
Don't worry about the IP so much. If you've invented it once, you can invent something else. That Facebook user was my mate, Steve Maddox. So thank you, Steve. Great to see you online. Brilliant. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Stuart,
Stuart's.
just put in, Stuart elaborated, says newsletter is kind of live week by week with news information for that week. Email list to set a series of emails that each subscriber goes through from the start. Can't decide which is best.
Okay. I would say you, Rebecca. I get it now.
Well, yeah, I understand. I think the email marketing or the email giving advice on a specific topic through email marketing, creating a series of emails is brilliant, but it might get to a point when you say, I'm going to shift that to a newsletter.
Yeah, or you just do a newsletter as part of that strategy once a month, right?
Yeah, which is what I do, a newsletter every month, and have a number of email tips going out as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do a newsletter every week. They just take too long. Stuart would be my thought. And once a month is perfectly okay. And then you've got more to catch up on, right, in the month. So, just a thought for you. Back to you, Sarah.
Yeah, a bit of a rant from Matthias about pushy salesmen. Yeah, we don't like pushy salesmen.
Nice one, Matthias.
Oh,
we like a good rant on this show.
absolutely, we do. Ant Jones, believe in what you do and understand why you're doing it. Be motivated and don't give up. It's about trying new things, seeing what works, and it's about building that relationship between you and your clients. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Thank you. Well done, Ant. And I think we had something from Maria just saying that she says something or other there, I think.
Yeah, Maria agrees about providing free content. She tries to provide free content in her LinkedIn posts, commit to doing 2 a week, and focuses on the value of the posts and what it can add to her network.
Yeah, and actually, Rebecca, you're an expert at that too. So I see your posts add a lot of value. So, and they always get a lot of dialogue as well.
I think the key thing is the consistency of them. So twice a week is great. And if you can up it to 3, brilliant. But the consistency of it, so doing it every week is the key thing. People then get to know that you post regularly, and then that builds engagement and interest in what you're doing.
And I like the way you said every week there. So I get some sales messages coming through every day. It feels a bit too much to me. What do you think, Rebecca?
Oh, this is a great question. I have been experimenting with posting every single day,
Yeah.
and I'm cutting back.
Yeah, it's hard to get value every day, isn't it? And,
It is hard. So I'm committing now to doing 4 to 5 posts a week, not 7. Because if you want to do real quality each time, I think to do 7 quality posts every single day is quite challenging. So experiment, find the rhythm that works for you.
right.
Key is doing it consistently.
Are you talking about LinkedIn posts there or
Oh, I was
emails?
there. Yeah, sorry, I was. Yeah.
So you're talking about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn absolutely more regularly because that's about social selling and it's about adding value through content and insights and things like that. On the email side, when you bring people from LinkedIn
email.
onto email, what do you do then, Rebecca? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I send an email out every 2 days.
Oh, right, every 2 days. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I send one every week to my subscriber group. So yeah, interesting. I'd be interested to see what you guys think as well. What's your experience with mail lists every day, 3 times a week, as Rebecca does, once a week? Where's the sweet spot, folks? You let us know. Rebecca thinks once every 2 days. I think once a week. So it just depends on your audience, I guess.
Yeah, I think when somebody's subscribed to something that you've offered for free, so maybe you've got a free download and they want that, I think they're very keen at that point to kind of learn as much as they can
Okay.
about what it is. And I think if you're giving, I think every day is too much personally.
Yeah.
A lot of people swear by it, but I just think it's too much.
Too much.
You feel like you're bombarding them. So I thought a happy medium is every 2 days, and I
Gotcha.
check my stats and I know the open rates and all of those sorts of things. So that feels about right. And I'll do that for, maybe 12 to 20 emails, and then I'll reduce it to less once they've got the intensive kind of tips and advice and support, and then I'll reduce it.
Okay, so once you've built nurture, you can then, spread the love in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's useful to know. So there you go. There's some tips and hints on mail lists, etc., etc. We're coming to the end of the show, very brief, and I want to bring on your call to action, but very briefly, sort of just. I'm going to put you on the spot here and summarize some practical tips that we can take away for increasing your sales, Rebecca. Just give us 3 or 4 practical tips that we've covered today that we can just take away.
So shift the focus from sales to thinking about your prospect or the decision maker, and really focus in on their world and what's happening in their life and in their business and how you can help them. Think about how you ditch the solution sell and think about how you can help them to create a transformation. I also say ditch the discovery meeting. And I'm going against the grain here, I know, but when we think about the discovery meeting, we generally are having a conversation with somebody for them to tell you lots of things about their business, which you could probably get by doing some research first of all. So think of your discovery meeting in a different way, that you're going to add value to them in the discovery meeting, not just waste their time by them telling you what you could have already found out. And if we put the boot on the other foot and we have that happen to us, it's very frustrating when they ask you lots of questions. If they'd done a bit of research beforehand, they could have asked much better questions.
Yeah,
So,
indeed, absolutely. That whole thing
yeah.
about the afters is more important, I think. I love the jelly effect for that. There's a book called The Jelly Effect. I've forgotten who it's
Oh,
by. Brilliant book. And he talks about, don't worry about discovery calls, just focus on the afters, which means research, research, research.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, thank you, Rebs. That's brilliant, Rebecca. Thank you very much. Let's go to your call to action here. So talk us through this very quickly, Rebecca.
Yeah, very quickly, there's generally about 16 touch points, that interaction between you and your business before to build that know, like, and trust. And this is a very simple cheat sheet where I've got 30 ideas, just over 30 ideas on what those various touch points could be. So you can start to map out the journey for your prospect.
Brilliant. And I've downloaded that. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, yeah, just a simple touch sheet list of things that you could do to build those touch points in your
Brilliant.
business for your
Brilliant.
prospects.
And the link is in the, it's just in the feed now. I can just see it there. So the link's there for you. And then we've got this newsletter here as well that you can subscribe to as well, right?
Yeah, so back into newsletters.
There you go, Stuart.
This is a newsletter every month, and I just share my next event or thoughts about sales and gaining and retaining clients.
Oh, gaming.
And may have an offer in it, all those sorts of things. So just once a month, and always as the opportunity to unsubscribe, but I hope you won't, because I think you'll find it has lots of value.
Love the way you said that. And there's a consummate way of beautifully said in a lovely way. So there's how to sell beautifully. So thank you, Rebecca. A consummate lesson in how to do that. Very nice. And finally, I've just got Rebecca's website here. I just thought I'd quickly show you this. So this is rjen.co.uk.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of you, Andrew, for showing that. So offer there to get my book for free. Just there's a charge of £5 for postage if people want to get that. And yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and we advertised the book last time on the show as well. So some of you lucky peeps already got that book. So there you are. So fantastic. So thank you very much. Oh, wow, what a brilliant session. And I think it sounds like we need another session on this. So selling seems to be something that is very close to everybody's heart right now, particularly in these tough times. So thanks again, Rebecca, for enlightening us today with an extraordinary playful conversation around not being salesy and being authentic in our selling. And we loved having you on the show again, my friend. And this show will be on podcast 2, peeps. So look out for that. And please remember to subscribe to my Leaders Live email list. I'd love you to do that. And the link will be in the list in a moment. So please, please, please subscribe. This really does help to grow and evolve the Leaders Live brand and what we're doing, and also the link to my link tree, and hopefully Elon Musk won't spam it or ghost it, so that's all easy peasy to get to, and those links will be in the there as I said. So Sarah put the link in the comment, or Tilly's put the link in. Fantastic. And just very briefly, a little bit about our sponsors. Ghost are a brand and design agency with an exceptional team of highly skilled and vibrant people that help and share brands to inspire businesses just like mine, just like yours. So thank you very much, Ghost, for sponsoring us. And very finally, we're just going to come on to the final moments here. Sarah, just talk a little bit about what we do at PDX.
Yeah, it just comes back to great communication. You know, it's always good to talk. If you think we can help you in any way, if there's, if you've liked what you've heard, get in touch with us. If you're struggling with your sales teams or communicating in your business, get in touch. It costs nothing to talk. Pick up the phone, have a chat with us, see if we can help. If we can't, who else do we know? If you're struggling with your LinkedIn, great shout out for Tilly at Marketing CX. They are fantastic. Again, just get in touch, talk through how can we help? Have we got something that we can bring value to your business? How can we make a difference for you?
Brilliant. I love that. How can we make a difference for you through those things? And, getting teams to work well with together, taking the vice being the collaboration piece, the C bit in vice is really important. And that's the bit that we do really well, is to help you and your team to collaborate and talk well together. Thank you, Sarah, for that. Yeah, so the goose for next week, folks. So next week on Valentine's Day, that's the 14th, if you didn't know. Get your cards ready, folks. At 8:45 a.m. UK time, we spread the love. Do you like what I did there? Valentine's Day, spread the love by hanging out with an entrepreneur, my mate. This is an entrepreneur with a difference. And my mate, the amazing Mr. Paul Brown, who in 2004 gave up his role as a manager of a graphic studio to become a highly skilled magician. It takes a lot to be one of those kind of people, lots and lots of skills and training involved in that. And not only that, but one of the very best in the UK, who's built a whole business around this and has an international presence too. Oh, I think that deserves a yeah, and a ooh. So we'll be talking about his story, about how he developed that business, and also why this is relevant to you. So how hiring a magician will enchant, like what I did there, enchant your customers for things like big events. What a great way! With my first book, just grab it. You Are More Than You Think. When we did the book launch for that, Paul did the magic for that show. We had 150 people there. All my business colleagues were there, from various different client bases and customers. And Paul did the magic, and he was brilliant. And people are still talking about the magic that he did then at that show. And it just brings customers and clients together to talk and just have fantastic time. And, people talk about those kind of events forever. So it's a great way of selling without selling, right? So we think we're going to love it. So be there or be square, folks. So that's coming up next week. And we're going to close with our outro right now. So thanks for hanging out with us today again. And thanks for being an awesome audience. And thanks very much for being part of this show and creating such a great community vibe. The podcast will be out shortly too, folks. And in the meantime, that's a wrap. So from Rebecca, from Sarah and me, and this week's sponsor, Ghost, have a great week ahead. Here is our outro. Thank you very much. We're going to say goodbye to you now. Ta-ra for now, folks. We'll wave goodbye to you. Thanks very much. Cheers now, everybody. Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. There we go. So that's a wrap, folks. See you again next week. Cheers for now.